Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I am bringing you an original tag. This is my Ringing in the New Year book tag. So I originally created this in 2015 when I was still book blogging, and I've been doing it ever since. I decided to try to bring it to BookTube and see if people are interested and if people like it and whatever. So here we go. The first question is, what is the best book or series that you've read in 2020? So I actually have two answers for this. The first is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. I absolutely fucking love that book. It was so good. It was my first Alyssa Cole book, and I believe it's her first thriller novel. It scared the shit out of me. It was super fucking creepy. I gave it 4.75 out of 5 stars. There was just one teeny tiny detail that knocked my rating down a little bit, but I couldn't not give it such a high rating because it was just so fucking good. The other one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. As y'all know, I've been struggling with romance novels this year, but that book was just so good. I flew through it in one day. I really appreciated the talk of chronic illness and abusive relationships and how to heal from that, and I just really appreciate how Talia Hibbert incorporates important topics into her books, and so I'm definitely a fan of her now. Next is authors that you discovered this year and would like to hear more from. As I just mentioned, both Alyssa Cole and Talia Hibbert are authors that I want to continue reading. I did pre-order Actor Ave, Age Brown by Talia Hibbert, which is the conclusion to the Brown Sisters trilogy. And I'm actually looking into Alyssa Cole's romance novels because I do want to give them a try. I don't know where to start though. I know that there's a Runaway Royals and a Reluctant Royals, and I don't know if it matters which one I start with. So if you've read any of Alyssa Cole's romances, let me know. The other author is Elizabeth Acevedo. So when I was in college, I had the opportunity to see Elizabeth Acevedo perform some of her spoken word, and she was amazing. This was before she had ever released her first novel. So when I saw that she started releasing books, I absolutely had to put them on my TBR. I finally listened to The Poet Acts earlier this year, and it was so good, and I'm so ready to read Clap When You Land and everything else that she writes because and listening to them on audio was such a great experience. It was just perfect. I absolutely love her. Usually my third question is best book turned TV or movie adaptation. So with COVID and everything this year, a lot of production has been put on hold. So if you don't have one for this year, let me know what your most anticipated adaptation for 2021 is. I don't actually know if this comes out in 2021, but I feel like I've been waiting for it forever. Shadow and Bone is supposed to come out on Netflix. It is a mashup of Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows. I'm rereading Six of Crows right now. I want to reread Shadow and Bone, and I feel like I have been talking about this series forever. I don't know if there's a release date yet, but I'm fucking ready for it. I hope it's good because if they fuck it up and it's trash like Shadowhunters was, I'm going to be very upset. The fourth question is, have your reading habits changed at all this year, and or have you gotten into any new genres? Obviously, I'm trying with romance. It's still definitely not a favorite. I still need to figure out exactly what types of romance novels I enjoy, but I've been trying. Otherwise, I've been listening to a lot more audiobooks. I think it just helps me get through things a little bit faster sometimes if I can change the speed. Most of the audiobooks that I listen on twice the speed. So that's been helping me out a lot. I also started using Libby, Hoopla, and Libro FM. All of those are things that I discovered from watching Ashley at Bookish Realm and chatting with her and a bunch of other people on her lives. So I am super grateful for that because there's so many freaking resources out there and I didn't know. Also, a lot of those help you support local bookstores or your local library. So if you haven't checked out any of those platforms, I highly recommend them. Next is favorite ship of the year or a new beloved character. I have to say my favorite ship is Danica Brown and Zafir Ansari from Take a Hand, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. I absolutely love them together. I learned the term cinnamon roll this year, and Zaf definitely fits into that category, and that's definitely a male character that I like. I also reread The Hunger Games earlier this year, and I guess Peeta kind of fits into that as well. I still love Peeta. I will stand him no matter what. Even though Katniss didn't need to be in a relationship at all, I don't care because he's amazing. I also really like Mitch Turner from Vicious. He's definitely a new favorite character, even though Vengeful wasn't what I wanted it to be. I still really appreciated being able to get back into that world and with those characters, especially Midge. Next is, have you started planning your TBR for 2021, and how many books do you hope to read? This year I chose 45 as my goal, and typically I would do 50, but there were some years when I made it, some years when I didn't, and 45 just felt like it gave me a little bit of extra time. So I think I'll stick with that because we're supposed to be returning to the office in January, and school and just life in general. So I think I'm gonna stick with 45. I have started planning my TBR. I will talk about that in a separate video. I have a whole grand plan for it. If you've been following me on Instagram, you may get a hint to what it is. I kind of started a series on Instagram that is preparing me for it, so I'll talk about that later. Next is, will you participate in any challenges or readathons? I will do the Goodreads challenge. I like Goodreads just because it helps me keep track of everything that I'm reading, tracking my progress. I think there's another app similar to Goodreads. I can't remember what it's called, but I feel like somebody tweeted about it the other day and I saw it, that I want to check out, because Goodreads isn't always great, especially with their fucking awards and whatever. Side note, I hope you all voted in the Shaded Choice Awards, where it specifically supports BIPOC authors, because apparently Goodreads can't be bothered. But anyway, I personally don't do readathons just because I make a TBR and most of the time I can stick to it, but like for December, Libby completely fucked up my TBR because my holds for everything became available so much earlier than I expected them to, so that TBR got thrown out the window. It also sometimes depends on my mood. Sometimes I just need something that I know that I'm going to enjoy. So readathons are not my thing, although I have seen a lot of good ones like Indigathon and Believeathon, and there's a lot of book clubs, but I don't think that I'll participate in any readathons in 2021. And the last question is, do you have any New Year's resolutions, whether they're for blogging, vlogging, bookish things, or just in life? As far as bookish, I do want to meet my Goodreads goal of 45 books again. For booktube, I want to try to come up with more fun ideas. I haven't done any rants in a while. I think I need to get back into that, and a lot of people seem to like the reacting to different book synopses, so just coming up with more ideas, more fun videos to do. And in life, I did Whole30 again this year and I really felt good afterwards, so I think I'm gonna probably try to stick to a somewhat Whole30 approved diet, but also still having, like, you know, ice cream every once in a while, but just, you know, typical things that we all try to do all the time. Eating healthy, sticking to my workout plan, also just like letting go of things that cause unnecessary stress. I think in 2020 especially, I've kind of started to develop a very fuck it attitude, and I kind of want to keep that going because it's helped reduce a lot of stress in dealing with certain people who think they have a right to be in my life when they don't. It's just been helpful in so many ways. I also think I want to make more bookish friends. Like, I know I talked to a few people, but maybe strengthening some of those relationships, because again, there just aren't a lot of people in my life that read. So yeah. I also recently bought new felt tip pens for my book journal. I have two book journals actually. I have one where I map out all of my ideas and editing for booktube, and one where I take notes on the books that I'm reading. I think I want to use this a little bit more and get a little bit more into journaling. Not necessarily bullet journaling because that's a little too structured for me, but something similar. So I'm going to tag my usuals, Dasha, Robin, and Erica, as well as Crystal, Laura, Z, and Rana. I will leave all of their channels in the description below. No pressure if you don't feel like doing this, but I would love to see if you do. And anyone else who sees this and wants to do it, if you do, please tag me on Twitter or send it to me or whatever, because I'd love to see what everybody's answers are. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.